Welcome to the Feminine Wisdom Circle. I'm so glad you're here, whether you're watching the replay or you're here with us in person. We take this time to steep ourselves into feminine energy together in community. And so it's a gift you give yourself. I wanted to share what today's intention was. And our intention, or is, I should say, our intention for today's beautiful session is about creating sacred space for wise women leaders to access not only their juicy feminine energy, but also taking the time to nurture our souls, connecting with other like-hearted women, and becoming, and specifically today, we're going to guide ourselves through becoming a vessel for peace. So just breathe that in for a moment. And as we do, I'm going to invite you to settle into your space by taking a nurturing. Oh, before we do the centering, I did want to introduce the um, the card that we're going to be walking through today. And even before I do that, I want to show it to you. So here we go. The feminine power cards, as many of you know, are the deck of wisdom cards that have on the pink side a principle and a feminine power principle in particular, and on the blue side, a practice. The principles are in various different categories, and we'll go over that on another call. But this one today says, when you go within, when you don't know where to go, go within. And when you go within, it's magical. So the practice, there's three types of practices: something to do, something to contemplate, and something to affirm. And this one has a star at the bottom, which means it's something to do. And it says, slow down and practice listening deeply to yourself. Slow down and practice listening deeply to yourself. So that's what we're going to do today. You know, that's what we love to do, practice the feminine here. And with this card about when you don't know where to go, go within, that when we go within, that can allow us great peace and freedom. So with that, feel free to close your eyes, set your feet on the ground, or if you're lying down, just settle into your body a little more strongly and take a deep breath in. And a releasing exhalation. Feel free to sigh if that feels good, signaling to your body you're letting go. And as you breathe in, breathing into that space within you that is your inner knowing, that inner authority, that place that's always the steady voice of wisdom within you. And as you exhale, just begin to center yourself from the inside and letting go of whatever thoughts, challenges, excitement that was going on in your day. You can leave that with your exhale and breathe in the here and now, right now, noticing your body, feeling your feet, lower legs, ankles, knees, shins, calves, thighs, all the way into your hips and those precious organs in your abdomen and torso. It's breathing in and nourishing all those body parts with your gratitude and your breath. Exhaling, letting go, softening up a little bit more. And bringing your awareness to your shoulders and arms, your back, the back of your neck, your collarbones, the front of your neck. And as you wrap your awareness around the back of your head and over your face, allow a wave of relaxation to flow over your forehead, softening around the temples and your eyes, allowing your cheeks and jaw to just relax. Imagining yourself as a baby, just soft and relaxed. And as you come into this present moment, allow yourself to tune into the perfect being you are, your perfections, your perfect breathing, the perfect space that you're in right now, that you're in a space, the perfect support that you have right now underneath you, supporting your body, gravity, and tuning into that inner authority, that inner knowing, that part of you that is wise, part of you is connected to your intuition, a part of you that when you slow down, you can really hear. Maybe it has a message for you right now. If it does, explore that message. Notice your inflow as you get centered and you go within. Taking another nourishing breath into that inner wisdom with gratitude for it always being there, knowing that you can always bring it forth at any moment you so desire. And again, the wisdom card of the day is when you don't know where to go, go within. So allow yourself to go within and receive any messages, any knowingness, anything that's here for you, or just be in that flow of being connected to the here and now. Just be here now. Present moment, the healing present moment. The moment that has everything you need right now. You're fully connected. And in a moment, I ask your energy to come back into room awareness. It's allowing the energy to rise in your body, feeling a little bit more refreshed, renewed, and invigorated. Opening your eyes when you're ready and coming back to room awareness. And you can say, ah, and welcome in, Joanne. If you're able to come up and be a panelist, we'd love that to have you here. Soon, Josette will be here as well. So, Francesca, would you like to unmute and come back on? One of the things I'd love for everybody to think about right now is what, and this could be a journaling question for yourself. What does your inner knowing want you to know? And maybe take a minute or two to write that down right now. What does your inner knowing want you to know? The message of the moment, perhaps, or a message that has always been given you. Doesn't matter. We don't judge. We love the space to offer our inner knowing. And what I'd love for each person to share after I give you a minute for this is, what is your inner, how do you sense your inner authority? So first, journal on, what does your inner knowing want you to know? Put it on the screen for you. And I put the question in the chat already. What does your inner knowing want you to know? Take just a minute to write some thoughts down. If you have any thoughts you want to share in the chat, you can. If you can chat. And this is really for your own personal. This is not something you have to share. The next question I have for you, and I would love everyone to share, is how do you sense your inner authority? Welcome in, Miss Josette. So when you hear what does your inner knowing want you to know, what comes to mind? Or your inner authority.
For me personally?
Yeah, let's you and I start this conversation.
Yeah, good idea. For me, the biggest thing that comes up for me is usually around like self-worth and value because I grew up with, out really feeling welcome into the world. So I always doubted my value.
Mm,
And so that's something that I've continuously worked on layer by layer by layer. And even though I'm 60, I still have moments where I feel challenged by that. And so that's usually the one thing that I hear the loudest within me that affects my inner authority is knowing how to value myself and knowing that I'm worthy.
mm. Knowing how to value myself and knowing I'm worthy.
Mhm.
Yes. And your inner authority reminds you are worthy.
Yes, it
You
might take me a minute sometimes, but I do get there.
I'm so glad you said that because it's like I feel like, and maybe you can relate to this, our inner authority is always there, solid with the true message for us. But
Hmm.
we have so much noise going on
Yeah,
from our upbringing, from our habits,
right.
from culture, and we we have not been we haven't created the habit of listening to it. But I think over
Mm.
time, when you're conscious, like we're doing this,
Yeah.
we're talking about this inner authority that's always there. The beautiful thing of spending this hour together is reminding us your inner authority is always there, and it's such a beautiful piece of ourselves that we could access at
Mhm.
anytime we want.
Yeah.
So, and it's a way to nurture ourselves too. Especially, I feel like we have this epidemic of anxiety that goes
Absolutely.
on in the world and frantic energy. And it's because not enough people are modeling and doing it for themselves of saying, I got this.
Hmm.
Or I like to say, we got this, me and my inner authority,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
I like that.
So, Francesca, would you like to share a little bit about how do you sense your inner authority? You're very intuitive. You go with the flow a lot. I think I'd love to hear if you want to share any wisdom.
Well, I don't know if I listen to my inner authority. I kind of just run roughshod until something goes, oops, wait a minute, back up, sit. What's now you better think of it. Um, I I don't totally ignore the little clues I get. I just I just make a note of them and then maybe later go, see, you could have offset some shit from that. You were feeling it. You said something was wrong. Yeah. And since I do so much ADD, I'm like, maybe I forgot. Maybe I didn't hear the whole thing.
Mm,
Um, yeah. I'm better at being present to things, but Um,
That's
Mm.
great.
yeah, we have a dance going on.
And when you're working with clients, for example, you get into a very intuitive space, wouldn't you say?
Oh, more than normal. Yeah, that's probably the only place I get like really centered. Like I did a meditation last night and I was feeling it and breathing and yawning and seeing it. And everybody was like nodding after, like, whoa, she went deep. You know, it's like that's my, and I keep saying, wow, that's my thing. That's my groove to
Yeah.
bring people into a space.
Mm.
And being at the forefront, I feel more. I always did. I used to teach aerobics, gave it 110%, and whatever I was instructing, I wasn't qualified for yoga, but I could do some poses. I could feel it 100% in the body and have other people feel it too.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I step into it like when necessary, I guess. When it's when it's not as necessary, I'm all over the place. But anyway.
Well, that's the beautiful thing of showing up here is we invite ourselves to go play there. And in particular, this month we are talking about that and doing that. I know for me, my inner authority is about it's like no big deal. It's like like all this crazy noises, decisions, judgments in my head is not my inner authority.
Mm.
It's the thing that says, you know, and it doesn't have a big voice, but it's always there. And it's just the voice of wisdom.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got this, or, it's got the answer, but I have to quiet the mind. I have to
Mhm.
slow down to get that wisdom. And it's,
Mm.
a lot of people say in the self-help industry, you got to slow down to speed up. It's so true because the wisdom can shortcut so many different wrong turns.
That's true.
So if I just say, you know what, I'm gonna not, I'm gonna do the JOMO thing, which is the joy of missing out, so I can slow down,
Mhm.
and then I have so much more joy. I don't FOMO. I'm not, because I got so much out of the slowing down. If you allow yourself to, so many of us are afraid to slow down because we're going to miss fear of missing out, right?
Mhm.
But I promise you, there's something extraordinary that can happen even when you miss out on something out there. You want to chime in on that, Josette?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking about like what you were saying and how your inner authority is always telling you like the things that you think you might be missing out on, there's a purpose behind it that not that being in the other space would be a bad thing. It just might not get you where maybe you're seeking to go, or that there's some other value that your inner authority is telling you. So, like your inner authority, and I hadn't thought of it this way before, is wrapped in I mean, this might seem really obvious to everyone else, but to me, I didn't really piece it together this way, but like it's all wrapped with your intuition and as well as being solid in your own values, knowing who you are. I think of inner authority as being like um, I almost want to say my own inner mother in a way.
The
Um,
loving,
yes,
nurturing
the
one.
loving, kind inner mother, not and and how that is really encompasses your own nurturing. It's a variety of things, your inner authority. It's your inner wisdom, your intuition, all those things that we kind of like speak of them as they're separate, yet they're all really the same. And I think that's what sort of struck me when I was listening to you, that
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought of it like that. I think I kept everything compartmentalized in different boxes, and yet they're all really one thing.
Interesting.
which
Yeah.
seems obvious now that I say it out loud.
And it's one and it's many,
Mm-hmm.
it's one and beautiful facets of that part of ourselves that really is, some people call it their inner guidance system, some people call it your inner authority, other people call it your inner knowing, your
Yeah.
higher power, whatever you want to call it, you can.
Mhm.
Doesn't really matter to me, but I'll give you a story of yesterday. So I went to drop off some soup for a friend, and she's in an area that I don't go, not too far, like 20 minutes, 25 minutes away. And, but I wanted to go and do other things as well. Like, oh, while I'm up here, I'm going to go get this special dosa batter that I love in Miramar. And then, oh, I want to go to this Costco because they have something there that no other Costco has. And I also had a class last
Mhm.
night. And of course, I didn't have time to do it all. So, in the past, the FOMO part of me would have been like, oh, go do it all. Who cares about traffic? You'll just be late to class. And and then I was like, no, that's I'm gonna be in a ton of traffic. I'm gonna be wasting a ton of gas, and gonna be so this inner authority was like, you can do the Costco run another day. You have time for the cash and carry run, and I really had to talk myself out of it and just trust. I said, okay, I'm going to trust my inner authority on this. And it made for a very peaceful, and not frantic afternoon. Right.
Yeah.
And then I came home and I looked at my calendar and I go, oh, I totally have time on Thursday to do this. So yeah, looks,
Mm.
it was a gift to not be in the stress of it all,
Mhm.
and and I was sitting in my car, so I was like, I could be on my way somewhere right now, but I took the extra 5 minutes it did to weigh all these things and get the noise, you know out of there, and talk to the part of me that was gonna fear of missing out, and say, well, and it comes from this higher thought of like, well, what do you want for your life right now? Do you want frantic, get it all done,
Mhm.
be in traffic, and but yes, hurrah, you can say you did it. Or do you want to just practice something else, a different way of being, and see what happens? And I kind of made it a little game for myself because I had to coax myself out of the frantic part.
I like that because I always also think like when you do take care of yourself like that, I always walk away just feeling so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just relish in the fact that I really took care of myself and I was doing it the way I really desired,
Right.
rather than that, like that frantic, oh my gosh, I can feel that energy.
Yeah. And I just came up with another thing. I say, and now if I go up on Thursday, I might even have time to fit in a walk with a friend who lives up there, right? I might
Yeah.
I might just say, hey, I'm going to be by your house. I want to go for a 30-minute walk and catch up. And I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not, so there's gifts that come after it
Mm.
as well when we trust and our inner authority. And yeah. So I'm really excited about that. We have a little process for everybody about nurturing their inner authority. We call it their inner authority nurture system. So, and Joanne, I know you were listening in and you have some audio and video issues, but you're welcome to chat in the chat. Anything you, well, yeah, if you want. I don't know if you can as an attendee though. That's the interesting thing. Well, you can because you did to us earlier. So you're welcome to share your thoughts on how you sense your inner authority. And as we go through this nurture system, we can have you chime in if you want. All right, so we're going to share my screen because we do have some things some questions, and then we'll put them in the chat for you as well. So uh, think about when you receive a compliment, or a time when you received a compliment, or you messed up, or a situation where you've compared yourself. Because in these situations, we don't always go to our inner authority, right? So how can we, right? So first, what feelings arise? And maybe as I go through this, Josette, do you want to give us like an example, like answer that question? So do you have a situation you're thinking of?
Well, I just recently went through another up leveling of my value and my self-worth,
Cool.
where I found myself in a situation in the work environment and where I was kind of comparing myself a little bit, feeling a little less than. And I had to really stop and remind myself of who I am. There are times where like what I noticed about what I was feeling were those little inner child nudges of like, oh, see, nobody really likes you, or see, nobody, And I had to really nurture her and talk to her, and that's what I noticed that triggers that spiraling that I can get into if I'm not careful.
So that's perfect because the next question is, what did you do with those feelings that arise? Were you nurturing yourself or negating yourself? And it sounds like initially you were negating yourself, but you talked to her into nurturing. Great. So what were some of the things you said about to nurture her?
Ah, well, I reminded her that, growing up, it didn't feel like a supportive environment. And now this is a supportive environment that I'm here and that I love her and I see who she is and I see what she's worth and that I value her and her opinions and what she thinks and feels and says. And now, mind you, I don't let my you know, 5-year-old version of myself run my life. Yet emotionally, she triggers me sometimes. And so I have to, give her what she was missing and parent her the way that I parented my own children in the best way that I could possibly do that.
And so the third step in this would be create a word or phrase that you can acknowledge this value, this worth, this part of you that really is worthy. And maybe it is, I am worthy, but what is your phrase that might just ground you back to the adult version of and the inner authority? Or what would the inner authority say as a phrase?
Um, well, I'm laughing because it's nothing that's poetic. It's more like the voice kind of says, "Girl, get it together. You know where you came from and what you've done. So there's no way that you're not worthy, you're not smart enough, you're not any of those things. You're completely 100% good enough and worth it all."
I love that. You're completely 100% worth it.
Mhm.
And what'd you say?
Worth it all.
Worth it all.
Yeah.
Ah, I love that. Totally love that. So, Francesca, does anything come to mind when you think about when you mess up or where you've compared yourself?
Well, luckily, it's not as much as it used to be. It used to be, and now it's like fleeting.
Awesome.
It's more fleeting stuff like, oh well, and just turn your head like a kid and next.
I like that. Oh, well. Did you all see the movie What the Bleep way back when?
Oh,
Yes.
God. Way
I
back.
know,
Yeah.
right? A quarter century ago, the beginning of the century. So, but there's a character in there, the roommate, who's this happy person. And when Marlene Matlin comes home all frustrated and angry and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
pissy,
Mhm.
her roommate is like, "Oh well," like so. That's what you reminded me of, Francesca. You're kind of being that positive energy
Mhm.
instead of going into the
Yeah.
the
Well,
other cycle that could take you down, right? Like, oh, well,
well, funny enough, I'm practicing somewhat what I preach because like Monday nights, we're having this raise your frequency class, have fun and fun frequency Mondays, we're calling it, I think.
It's great.
And that's the whole thing. So I can't let anybody and people are in pain. 3 people can't walk without pain. And so for me, sometimes I'm thinking for me to come in and tell y'all, yeah, you know, turn it upside down. Why am I so happy? That's our song. Why am I so happy? Why am I so happy? Check out this guy, whatever, online. And I brought that in, and I'm kind of forcing them to be that, not Pollyanna exact, but you got 2 choices here. Stay in the funk or turn it around, raise your frequency, make it a better deal. I've known that forever. That's what my cards are about.
yeah.
Why is everything working out in my favor? You know? Or you could confirm that everything's not working out in your favor and being as poopy and, darning and sad as you want to be. But then don't expect anything to get better. Okay. Like I just
Yeah.
told somebody who unfortunately comes from Lebanon and they're just bombing the heck out of Lebanon. And what reason? Does anybody I didn't hear a reason anywhere, you know? But she lives here and I was trying to tell her, this is your little world and this is where you have to be positive. And she's a very happy, loving, giving soul. But she's got this, I know now she has this program in her that's constantly with Lebanon and the evilness and the bombing and the stuff because her cat keeps getting attacked. Anyway, so I just told her, if you don't want your cat to keep getting attacked, I'm afraid you're going to have to change things. And she doesn't see another reality about it. So even though, and so many people say your reality is what you make, what you see, you get what not only visualize, but I know people who don't pay attention to anything going on and everything's working out wonderful in their life because they're not letting the little negatoid bullshit come in, and she's just makes money, finds money anywhere, everybody loves her, blah blah blah, because she's somewhat oblivious.
Mm.
And us who, and me especially, it's like I really have to work hard. And I cleared enough. It's also, I find it's whatever's deep inside of you that's either drawing in that sadness, like megaphoning what's outside, because you had a little piece of that inside. And if you deal with all those little pieces inside, then you don't have to megaphone. I mean, now I look at miserable stuff and I don't like it. And I couldn't watch the video she sent me. I'm like, nope, not in my space. Sorry, not going to do that. I become more sensitive to it and I don't get as upset as I did before. And so, look out, people. All the shit's happening. I mean, I might mention it and I'll definitely tell people, oh my God, they say there's going to be an earthquake in California. So what else is new?
Right.
Instead of buying into oh, we're really going to get knocked off the foundation this time. Like some people are saying, it's like, oh, so the lightness of being can help me make whatever the darkness or the tightness or the heaviness out there not as heavy.
Yes, yes, yes.
So whether
And
it's
and it's not contributing to that frenzy. So I think the
right,
more of us can be in that lightness of being, the better for the world it is. And to that point, I'm going to do something. I want to share something that really brought light to my life. And it's just so beautiful. It's Lady Gaga's um, remix of Mr. Rogers' Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And I think and then I'm going to get back to you, Joanne, but you all have to hear this. It'll change your vibration for sure. And why isn't it letting me share sound? I don't understand this option. So why isn't it letting me do that? I don't know. Oh, it's so beautiful. All right. So let me see if I can share it another way instead.
I had trouble with that the other day too.
Yeah, I've had it once in a while and I
Yeah.
don't know what exactly it is, but here, computer audio. There we go. Here we go. Is that like tear chills bringing? I'll put the link to this that where I saw it on Instagram. Just I invite you to listen to that anytime you need some light. Um, so let's Joanne, I want to see what you said in the chat. You're tripped up. I remind myself that I'm here to be, do, and experience things greater than what may be in my right now moment experience. So when you're tripped up, you remind yourself that you're here to be, do, and experience things greater than what may be. Yes, yes, yes. So right now, there's a bigger picture. I love that. Yeah. And this is, some people will ask for what might this be good? Like when you're in the moment and it's not such a good moment. My husband likes to say it's going to make for a great story later on. So I love this idea of Francesca, this lightness of being, this keeping that present. And and it's not that you exist as Pollyanna. The reason you bring in the lightness of being that positive is because feelings are arising that you need to connect with and then transmute, transform, transcend, whatever you want to do with it, but take it to the light. And how you do that, I think this card that we're working on this month is, go within. Let that inner authority, give it some light, slow down, and practice listening. And so that's what we're doing today. Yeah, there it is. All right. Any more comments? Josette? Wisdom?
I mean, I think that all the things that we've talked about collectively here just offer so many other perceptions that we can all take on. And I really love like the combination of what Francesca shared and what Joanne was talking about being in the right now, and how Francesca speaks to, you know, staying in the muck isn't going to get you where you want to be. So be in your lightness. That's what I heard you say ultimately, Francesca. And I love that because it's not a practice of ignoring something that's bothering you, yet it's not staying in it. And that's sometimes where we can get really stuck. And you spoke earlier, Laura, about like we don't really practice changing those patterns. And I think that what both the ladies have shared are tools we can use to create different habits that allow us to not stay in those spaces or even really have to revisit them as often as maybe we used to in the past.
Yep. And I love that, Francesca, the song, slow down, you move too fast, got to make the moment last.
Yeah.
That's great. There's so many good songs, that can really, um, music is so healing. In fact, I have a vision. If anybody has a way to get this to the right people, but when I heard that Lady Gaga singing this remix of Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, I'm like, we have technology today that can do something like this, a multi-simulcasted, multi-venue location of like, remember back in the day, Live Aid? We are the world. We are the children's. What if we did that in multiple cities at the same time with different musicians and artists that all have a healing message? And, people are gathering in these various places around the world to raise that vibration, to just get out of the vibration they're in. They just want to sing and chant and hang out in a love fest, or I want to call it, and I don't know if it's a good name or not, but peace swellings. What if we did peace swellings instead as an alternative to marches? Not an alternative. I'm not against the marches at all, but as a counterbalance to the marches, all moving in the same direction. I really feel like oh, thank you. Francesca's putting in the chat of YouTube that has a simple repetition of chant. Yes. And but what my vision is gatherings of people doing this together, making a statement, getting in the news. Because and where that idea came from is what the people in Minnesota, or was it Minnesota? Yeah, where they were protesting against ICE, and they came together and they actually invited the ICE agents in song. It's not too late to change your mind. They started chanting something around that. We welcome you to do the humane thing, and whatever. It was very well scripted chant that they were chanting. It was beautifully sung, and they were marching in a march for that. So a peace march instead of a peace protest, and really inviting people to go to their hearts. And we need that on a worldwide level, because too many people are in fear, and then fear begets fear, and people do really weird things around the world. So peace swellings, think about them. And if you know anyone who is in the music entertainment industry and can put them together, I tried messaging. So Maria Shriver was the one who posted that Lady Gaga, and I'm sure it's on Lady Gaga's, but I tried messaging Maria Shriver through Instagram, and her account doesn't receive messages. So anybody happy to send my message around the world, maybe get somewhere. And hopefully somebody can do something like that. It'd be really cool. So we want to wrap up a little bit. Anybody have anything else they want to share? And feel free to put things in the chat. This is great. And then, save the chat. Okay, I'm definitely going to be listening to your YouTubes there, Francesca. Thank you. And I wanted to share the last screen about our offers, unless there's something else to, did I miss anything, Joseph?
I don't think so.
Okay. So if you don't already have a deck of wisdom cards and you want them, femininepowercards.com. Did somebody tell me, I know maybe it was you, Joanne, who was asking how can we get them to people digitally? I'm looking into it, but somebody, Josette, was it you? Do you have a resource for me?
I think I know someone, but I'm not sure if there's a couple people I can ask
Okay,
about the digital,
great.
but I
Anybody?
think
Yeah.
there's someone from our group that actually knows.
Okay, cool. That'd be awesome. And then if you'd like to have a feminine influence code session, you haven't had one yet, please go to transformtoday.com/femcode, where we will, I'm actually working on an assessment, and I would love a beta tester for that, although I won't be ready for it for about 2 to 3 weeks. But you're welcome to sign up for the FemCode session, and I'll send you the assessment when it's ready, and then we could do the session after that. And Josette, tell us about your Activate Your Awakened Intelligence.
Yeah, so Activate Your Awakened Intelligence is about really taking a deeper reflective look on how your values are interacting in your life, like assessing what values that you feel you're gravitating towards and how they're currently working in your life and how they can be better by awakening that intelligence.
I love that. So our next wisdom circle in person is going to be in May. And that is May. I should get to that.
Hold on, I'll try to let me get it real quick.
I think it's May 19th.
19th,
Yeah,
yes.
May 19th and we're going back to 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going back to 4 o'clock. We're falling back. I don't know what you want to call it, but we're tax season. We're recovered from tax season, right? But in April, we're going to send you a message about presencing support and knowing you are always supported. Yes. So you want to emphasize that at all, Josette?
Well, I think that we've already recorded it, and so we know what's in store for you. And it was such a great session and conversation. I think that you'll all really enjoy it. So I don't want to give anything away from it because I think it rolls right from inner authority and is a beautiful explanation and also the opportunity to take that in a whole new direction and put it into practice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really a sweet session. So we're going to send that out on April 21st for you and remind you to come back in May. And yeah, Joanne, I know that it's spring forward into fall back, but our time actually went spring back and we didn't spring forward. We're springing back, right? So it didn't really work, in other words. So thank you for that. And I just hope it could give you a little chuckle and you keep that lightness of being throughout your month and just we need you. We need your feminine essence and your precious heart. So thank you. Any closing words from you, Joseph?
Oh, it's just always a pleasure to be here with all of you. No matter who comes, how many of us are here, it's just always such I always walk away feeling so filled. You know, my heart feels full, and I love hearing the wisdom around the table and all the offerings that each person has about what their own journey is like. And so I just want to like express my gratitude and appreciation for all of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Josette. Your presence is huge here. And given that, invite your women friends to at least sign up for the circle. We'll send them the replays if they can't come in person, and so they can benefit from that too. And it's femininewisdomcircle.com is all they have to go to. All right, until next time, lots of love.
Hey, everybody.
Bye.